Everyone, welcome to another AMG guide. Today I'm going to be doing a Path of Exiles guide. Of course, I'm going to be covering everything from the beginner stuff to a little bit more experienced and intermediate, and hopefully some final level tips and tricks, and of course the general way of how this game works. It is a little bit more complex, so there's going to be a lot of parts to it. I don't know exactly how many I'm going to be working through it, but as always, do feel free to leave your comments down below. Again, I'm going to be finishing it off with the sort of documentation as well that you can download and use it as well. So that should pretty much help you in terms of anything you need, as well explain to you everything you need and give you all the paperwork and all the links that you should ever need to play this game and have a little bit of fun. So let's get started. So one of the first tips that I'd like to give you is the Z button. When you push the Z button, it actually keeps the items on the ground always highlighted. So in case you are moving along and you're killing stuff, it'll always keep the items on the ground highlighted. I find this very useful, especially if you don't want to always hold down the keys to check what the hell's down or actually hunt for the items themselves. So just pushing Z as well, just pushing Z once will actually keep the items on the ground always available and visible to you. The second point is if you hit the enter button, you actually end up with the chat button. Now here you have a choice. You can join the global chat, which is general chat, or you can join the trade chat, which of course allows you to type in the trade. Now to type in the trade, you're going to have to either select the trade and then type, or you can directly just type the $sign and automatically it starts the trade. So in case I have my chat off, all I have to do is type the $sign, automatically it logs me into the chat itself. Again, if you'd like to chat with anyone, you can type directly here. I don't know, whatever. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. And if you want to talk to someone specifically, in case someone replies, you can always right click their name and actually whisper to that player. You can also invite that player to your party, which means he joins your party, or you can add him as a friend. Now, in case you add him as a friend, you're going to end up in the Socials tab, which is here, the Socials tab, or you can hit S. And here you have all the friends that you actually added. They're going to be added directly to your friends list. Now, if you're going to invite someone to your party, you're going to have him in your current party. It'll be current party. Now, either if your current party, you're going to see his avatar here. If you right-click his avatar, you can kick him out. But in case he invites you to his party, you can't kick him out, because when you right-click his name, he invited you. So the only way to leave that party is you're going to have to go to the Socials tab, or by hitting S, you're going to see current party, not create party. You're going to see the actual party that you're in, and you're going to see leave party, and you're going to click leave the party. That's the only way you can leave a party in case you're invited to it. This mainly is a problem in case you're trading with someone. They usually invite you, and you don't know how to leave. It's good to leave. It's good to leave the party, of course, otherwise they can join you and join in one of the maps that you don't want them to be in. Now, once you do add your friend, there's a couple of useful things. You can actually, it tells you when you invited this person by what characters. So green eggs. When I added this person to my actual friends list, you're going to be noticing, why the hell does it say green eggs? Because a person has many different characters. So if you notice that some of the characters, if I can find one, for example this one, Carlitovo, I never added him as Carlitovo, I added him as Salizan, and at Salizan I exactly know what type of, you can say, relationship we had, or what exactly we were doing. So I know what type of trading character he is, who he is, what he's doing. So that's why it automatically adds the note as what type of character you added him. Now, another cool thing is to know is that you can actually edit these notes and change what these notes you want them to be. So I do have some notes, for example, some person I'm trading with, some person is giving me free adversary services, some person is giving me very good ratio. So I actually add these people and add the notes too. You can of course see the notes if you just hover over them. You don't have to actually click it. So that's a pretty useful thing I would recommend to do. Now, another thing, of course, when you do actually add your friends, you can right-click, you can of course visit their hideout and unfriend them to get rid of them, and of course challenge them to a duel. Now, these are the standard things to do here, and then you have the public parties. Now, the public parties become available only when you get to Act 3, as it is in the actual message board, which I'm going to show you now. Once you get to Act 3 and you get to the city of Sarn, you're going to have the wonderful notice board here. The notice board is the actual public parties. This only becomes available in Act 3. And here you can see people actually want to sell a lot of things, want to join a lot of things, are having a docs run, so on and so forth. Now, to understand what all these shortcuts and slang stands for, if you join the trade, there's a lot of chat going on. WTS is want to sell. And then you have WTB is want to buy. And then you have WTT is want to trade. Want to trade, it means he wants to trade, I don't know, chaos for for, I don't know, an item, or he wants to trade an item for an item. Because don't forget, there's no actual currency, so rarely you see people say WTT, but that is that. So in case you want to sell something, you can do that. Anyways, this we will actually cover a little bit later on. Let's get down to a bunch of other stuff. Now, another small and very useful trick, it's when you want an ID, usually right click and then you left click and then you gotta right click and left click again. That is very annoying. So what you can do is right click and then just hold down the left shift key, and then like that, when I click, I still have that actual scroll in my hand. So like that I can click, and like that I can click all the items I have without doing it one by one by one by one, which drives you crazy, especially when you're vendoring quite a lot of items. So this is a sort of quick trick to do stuff. And then another thing is, if you're in the shop and you want to sell stuff, you don't have to drag and drop. You can hold down control and just left click all the items that you want to sell, and directly they move towards the actual vendor themselves, and the actual vendor themselves will directly of course want to sell it. And that's pretty cool. You have an actual orb of alteration does convert directly into scrolls of wisdom. So that's another thing. So if you want to sell 20 scrolls of alterations, you get 80 scrolls of wisdom. Not bad. Now in regards to the orb of alterations, yes, 20 alterations do give me 40 scroll of wisdoms. For the later game you do end up requiring a little bit of scroll of wisdoms, but it's not a good ratio. So now let's get into the actual trade part. We do need to spend, let's say, technically orb of alterations range anywhere from 10 to 14 for 1 chaos, and alchemies can range anywhere between 3 to 4 for 1 chaos. I will cover this more in depth in my other section in regards to exactly what the ratios are and how to know if it's a good deal or not. But generally speaking, of course, in terms of orb of alterations, there's no way I'm going to spend 20 to get 40 scroll of wisdoms, because on the market, and this is something that I'll cover in the sheet in more detail much later on, is one chaos, which is 10 to 14 alterations depending on how lucky you are. You can get around 240 scrolls of identity. So of course do not do that. In case you were thinking of doing that, don't do that. And that being said, for the trade chat that I was mentioning before, every time you do join the trade chat, it actually shows you the number. So it says trade, I'm in the chat room 36. If I want to switch the trade chat room, I click on and off, and now I'm trade chat room 8. Now of course there's a possibility that you end up in the same trade chat room, so be careful. Like here I already joined the trade chat room 4. So why the hell would you want to change the trade chat room? If in case you want to sell something, you can sell something to you want to sell alterations, and you try it in one chat, then you try it in a different chat room, and you try it in a different chat room again, back to 36. So you post it into many different chat rooms as much as possible. Again, be sure not to spam it too much, because it does block you after a certain amount. So post a message, wait a couple of seconds, and post a message again in a different chat room. That's the best way to do as much as possible without spamming the living crap out of everything. So now to another important point, I'm going to try to plop up, I guess somewhere around here, actual picture of the leveling system. When you're leveling, always be sure that you can, the best and most effective way to get 100% experience from every level is, varies depending on the level you are. Generally from level 16 you can farm 4 levels below you and 4 levels above you. So how the hell do you know what level you're in? If you hover of course over the actual sections, that actually says monster level 2. So technically speaking, if I'm level 16, I can go 4 levels below and 4 levels above. So that's from 12 to 20. So of course, if I'm in Merciless, I have level 62, so that's pretty much a little bit too high. That's too high, so we're probably in Act 2. Here we are. So if I'm level 16, I need a level between 12 to 20. So of course the Southern Forest will give me 100% experience. The question is why, as I mentioned, just experience. If you're not getting 100% experience, you're not really getting as much possible experience to level up as quickly as possible. So of course the list goes on. You see 32, it's 5, plus minus 5 levels, 48, plus minus 6 levels, so on and so forth. And at level 96 it's plus minus 9 levels. So it's much more lenient at level 9. At level 96 that you can go plus minus 9 levels. And yeah, so keep that in mind, especially for the later game. Later game, I presume you're going to be starting around the level 64, so you do have a leniency of plus minus 7 levels when you're actually farming the actual maps themselves. Again, that'll be covered later on. In terms of what character to choose, there's many characters to choose from. The Righteous Fire Marauder build was a very popular, easy starter, very easy starter, very tanky, very easy. You could live for a very long time and you could pretty much kill everything. But with this new patch, I don't think it's going to be that easy, and the Righteous Fire might be dying out, I'm not sure. So don't really take my word for it. You can literally choose any character you want. What I would highly recommend is whatever character you choose, please follow a build online that's been tested and proved, especially the first character. If you're coming in with the concept that you're going to be playing another Diablo, you're far from it. It's much more complex than that, a little bit more complex. It's going to take a little bit of time getting used to, especially with the skill tree, especially how everything goes. So please take a look at some of the guides online. I'm going to of course leave all the links below in the description. Take a look at some of the websites that have some of the guides and follow these guys, literally follow these guides, you know, have a go at them, try them out, just take a look at the guides, take a look at the builds that have been already pre-made and follow these guides and go with these guides until you have a better idea of how the system works. Generally speaking, each character sooner or later at one point is going to require to have 3 auras running or 3 auras and buffs. On the top left you're going to at least have 3 to 4. So keep that in mind. If you're building any build, it usually has 3 to 4 auras running. So at the level 60 or 64 you have 3 to 4 auras including buffs running at the same time. That being said, let's jump on directly to our next point. Now the stash itself, you can actually move the actual tabs. I don't know if you knew this, you can actually move the tabs. Even if you didn't buy the premium or upgraded to the premium, you can still move the tabs around. So even if you don't have the premium tabs, you can drag them, just click it, hold it and move them around. So if that'll do any good to you. If you have premium tabs, of course it's very cool. You can name them, you can color them and you can move them around as well. So I think it's a very nice small little detail. Jumping again to another point. Another cool thing is when you are in the chat, what you could do is actually very useful. You can type remaining. And it tells you how many monsters are remaining in the actual level itself. So 20 monsters remaining in the level itself. So if we do kill someone, come on. It still says 20. So the maximum, literally, the maximum it can show is 20. So once it gets below 20, it actually starts to reduce because the level's brand new. The level's brand new, so it's gonna keep showing me 20 until I actually get it. Poacher's Mark, that's actually not a bad one. This one actually sells a lot. So once you get the amount of monsters below 20, it'll actually show how many monsters are left. So far I know that there's way more than 20. So here we go, we're back, and now if we do remaining, we have 6 monsters remaining in the level itself. So another thing that we can also, or that I can also mention is, in case you die, in case you mainly die in cruel difficulty, you lose 5%, and in merciless you lose 10% of your experience. Now you're saying, what is that a problem? Well, it is a problem, especially when you're in the later level or later game. As for example, when you start reaching level 60s or something like that, every time you die, of course, you delay the amount of time you need to get to the next level, which means you get more points, so you can level up your passive tree. It is a little bit annoying. For example, here I was, I think, nearly halfway through, and I died a couple of times to kill one of the bosses, so now I have to do the whole thing again. Especially at level 82, it does take quite a bit of time. So when you start reaching the cruel and merciless level, please be careful and try not to die, otherwise it'll slow down your leveling. Isn't a very popular one, but it might be useful. Sometimes when you do attack an enemy, you notice the enemy is there but no damage is taken, and then suddenly you end up jumping all around the place and popping up in random locations. That's mainly because it's not synchronized. Now to synchronize, you also go to your chat, you do / and now you type OOS, and it resyncs to the actual server itself. So /OOS, and it should resync to the actual server itself, and you should end up on the correct location, or the monsters should actually start to die and everything should function the way it's supposed to function. Unless you have a massive lag, of course, that's not going to help much. But in case you feel that you're not synced, so that is the thing to do. And just before I end it, another cool thing is when you actually go to the waypoint and left click it, especially later on, or even actually a little bit further on in the game when you actually do start to farm the maps more and more, you, just before you click the actual map where you want to go to, you hit control and you left click it, and it shows you all these instances. So for example, if I want to refarm the docks again, all I have to do is control and left click it. As you see, I already have, do I have 7 minutes ago? So I only have 7 minutes and 15 seconds before the instance that I had previously opened resets, but I can start a brand new one because the previous one I already cleared it out. So I can start a brand new one and I start in a brand new level. So they're already putting this tip up, but I don't think a lot of some people are still a little bit confused in regards to this. And now I start a whole brand new level. This is it for the first part. Later on I'm going to get a little more in-depth into the trading, how to price stuff, and all the other goodies. So as always, happy gaming, take care. Please be sure to check out the links below and leave any other points or questions that you might have. See ya.